The Miracle Noodle Part 1. The cold wind howled through the winter night. Cheng Mo tightened his thin cotton coat and rubbed his frostbitten red hands. In front of him, a small noodle stand stood at the street corner, dimly lit by a flickering yellow light bulb swinging in the wind, casting trembling shadows. "Boss, one bowl of beef noodles." A middle-aged man in worn-out work clothes sat down on a plastic stool, white breath condensing in the frigid air. "Coming right up." Cheng Mo gave a simple, honest smile and turned to work at his modest stove. His movements were swift and precise as he kneaded and pulled the dough. Every step was meticulous. Once the noodles were in the pot, he scooped out beef bone broth that had been simmering for 8 hours, a recipe passed down through generations, for which he woke at 4 a.m. daily to prepare. The broth was clear but rich in aroma. "Your noodles are ready." Cheng Mo placed the steaming bowl before the customer and added a small plate of homemade pickled vegetables. The man took a slurp and his eyes lit up. "This is amazing. The broth is fresh and not greasy. The noodles are chewy, and the beef is perfectly stewed." Cheng Mo shyly smiled. "I'm glad you like it." This was Cheng Mo's everyday life, running his tiny noodle stall in a forgotten corner of the city outskirts. A space of less than 30 square meters, with 6 wobbly plastic tables and chairs, was all he owned. Though the income was meager, he insisted on using the best ingredients and the most sincere craftsmanship to serve each customer a warm, honest bowl of noodles. "Xiao Cheng, how was business today?" asked Aunt Wang from the neighboring fruit stall as she closed up shop. Cheng Mo glanced at the nearly empty cash box and smiled bitterly. "Not bad. At least I made rent." "You have such good skills. Why not open a store downtown? This hidden corner is too unjust for your talent." She shook her head. "I'll take it slow. I'm okay with how things are now." Cheng Mo wiped his forehead and continued tidying up the condiment station. In truth, Cheng Mo had thought about expanding, but every penny he had saved went toward his mother's expensive medical bills. 3 years ago, she had a stroke. Though she survived, she was left paralyzed on one side. The monthly rehabilitation costs were like a bottomless pit, swallowing his already meager income. As he was closing up for the night, a black Mercedes slowly pulled up by the roadside, catching his attention. A luxury car like that was rare in such a rundown neighborhood. The door opened, and an elderly man, thin and pale but impeccably dressed, stepped out with the help of a driver. "Young man, are you still open?" the old man asked, his voice weak but with an undeniable authority. "Yes, please have a seat. What would you like to eat?" The old man sat down slowly and glanced around at the simple setup, frowning slightly. "What do you recommend?" "Our specialty is beef noodles and pickled pork noodles. The broth is made with real beef bones and hen, absolutely authentic," Cheng Mo introduced enthusiastically. "Beef noodles, then. Light on oil and salt." The old man seemed to lack appetite and spoke reluctantly. "Sure. Please wait a moment." Cheng Mo returned to the stove, carefully selecting the most tender cut of brisket and slicing it paper-thin. He remembered the old man's frailty and added a few slices of wild astragalus root he had brought from his hometown, something he rarely used. 10 minutes later, a steaming bowl of noodles was placed before the old man. The clear broth shimmered under the floating scallions. The beef slices were thin and neatly arranged. The noodles were distinct and fragrant. The old man's previously lifeless expression shifted. He took a deep breath, a look of surprise flashing in his eyes. "This aroma. Try it while it's hot." Cheng Mo handed him chopsticks. The old man hesitated but picked up a strand of noodles and took a bite. After a few chews, his eyes widened. He took a sip of the broth, then another and another. Within 5 minutes, the bowl was empty. "Is there more?" the old man asked, eyes gleaming. "Of course." Cheng Mo grinned and eagerly prepared a second bowl. That night, the frail old man had 3 full bowls. Wiping his mouth contentedly, he said, "Young man, your noodles are extraordinary." Cheng Mo scratched his head modestly. "Just home-style cooking. I'm glad you enjoyed it." "I haven't eaten well in 3 months," the old man said suddenly. "Anorexia. I've seen countless famous doctors and tried many medicines. Nothing worked. Yet today, I found my appetite here at your humble stall." Cheng Mo was stunned. "That's a great honor." The old man pulled out a business card. "My name is Shun Hongru. If you're interested, you can come work at my hotel. The salary is 10 times what you make now." Cheng Mo took the card. hand trembling at the sight of the gold-embossed words Shun Group. It was the province's largest business empire, real estate, hotels, finance, worth billions. This frail old man was the legendary Mr. Shun. And Mr. Shun, no need to answer now. Think about it, the old man said, turning to his driver. I'll be back tomorrow for more noodles. A week later, a line of luxury cars parked outside Ching Mo's stall. Leading the group was a red Ferrari. From it stepped a pair of long, slender legs. Ching Mo looked up and was momentarily breathless. A young woman in a crisp white suit stood before him, around 25 or 6, with cascading black hair and a face as perfect as a painting. Her noble aura and commanding presence were unmistakable. "You're Ching Mo?" she asked coldly. "Yes." "Would you like some noodles?" he asked, instinctively wiping his hands. She didn't answer, instead sizing him up with eyes sharp enough to pierce through a person. "I'm Xin Yuqing, current CEO of the Shun Group. A week ago, my grandfather had 3 bowls of your noodles." Ching Mo's heart skipped a beat. Xin Yuqing, the business world's ice queen, frequently featured in financial magazines, worth billions. Hello, Miss Shin. Is Mr. Shin well?" "He's doing great," she said more gently. "In fact, ever since eating your noodles, his anorexia has miraculously improved. He's been sending people to buy your noodles every day. His appetite is back to 80%. Chang Mo sighed in relief. "That's good. Being able to eat is a blessing." Xin Yuqing suddenly stepped closer, so near that Chang Mo could smell her faint perfume. "I looked into you. Chang Mo, 28 years old. From a mountain village. Gave up college for your sick mother. Making a living with this stall." Chang Mo stepped back, alarmed. "What do you mean by this?" "Relax." She took out a check. "Here's 1 million yuan. Thank you for curing my grandfather." Chang Mo stared at the string of zeros, throat tightening. It was enough for 3 years of treatment and a small shop. But he shook his head. "I can't accept this, Miss Shin. I just made a bowl of noodles. Mr. Shin liking it is my honor." Xin Yuqing raised her eyebrows, surprised. "You know how many people dream of getting a Shin family check?" "I know it sounds ungrateful," Chang Mo said earnestly, "but I cook because I like seeing my customers' happy faces, not for rewards." She studied him for a long time, then suddenly smiled. "Interesting. Then how about this? My grandfather wants to hire you as his personal chef. 10,000 per month, room and board included." Chang Mo hesitated even more. "Miss Shin, I'm grateful, but I can't abandon this stall. It may be small, but my regulars come every day." "You mean the scavenger who eats here daily? Or those migrant workers?" she interrupted. "Do you know what rejecting the Shin family means?" Chang Mo took a deep breath. "It means I might always be a poor noodle vendor. But my mom taught me to have a conscience. These customers supported me when I had nothing. I can't abandon them for money." Xin Yuqing's expression shifted. After a moment, she said, "What if my grandfather sends someone here daily for your noodles?" "They're always welcome." Chang Mo smiled. "But no cutting the line." She laughed softly. "You're a strange one." She pocketed the check. "All right, I respect your choice. But I have a request. Make me a bowl too. I want to taste what cured my grandfather." "Of course, please have a seat." 20 minutes later, Xin Yuqing put down her chopsticks, having finished every drop of soup. She elegantly wiped her mouth, eyes gleaming with something Chang Mo couldn't read. "Chang Mo," she suddenly said, "if I hide my identity and come work at your stall, will you teach me how to make noodles?" He thought he misheard. "What?" "I want to learn your craft and cook for Grandpa myself," she said sincerely. "In return, I'll cover your mother's medical expenses." Chang Mo froze. The Shin heiress wanted to be his apprentice? It was more unbelievable than winning the lottery. "Miss Shin, that's really not appropriate. Someone like you." "It's settled." She turned decisively. "I'll start tomorrow as a regular helper. Don't expose me." Before Chang Mo could respond, she had already walked back to her Ferrari. She glanced back with a mysterious smile. What Chang Mo didn't know was that this unexpected decision would change the course of his ordinary life. And in Shun Yuqing's heart, a bolder plan was forming, to find out whether this poor noodle vendor who turned down 1 million was really as pure as he seemed.